orderly pullback in here. And we had earnings. So this was the earnings report right here. And the stock gapped up on earnings. It had this huge run. And if we put an anchor on those earnings on the 30-minute time frame on the right, you can see right here, you can see that it initially was starting to turn sideways in here. And then it had that shakeout. I love to see that shakeout. And that's something I look for a lot. And then it ran up here and made this higher high. So again, the question is, so I did not buy on that day because it just ran from 107 to 121. It ran 14 points. And I was thinking, well, I'm not going to buy the higher high above the 5-day moving average. It's not just the higher high above the 5-day moving average, but is there structure here? If I'm looking at a higher low, one, I don't have a higher low. I have a lower low. So I don't want to chase that. So instead, I want to see the stock pull back. And then I believe I bought it over here. My price of purchase was $119.50. So right over in here is where I purchased it. And the initial protective stop was right under here. That was my initial protective stop for the purchase of right here. 119.50, yeah, right in that general zone. The next day, it gapped up. It ran into the anchor from the earnings, and that was also daily R2. So I took my first quarter point piece off with a gain of $3 per share. And then it came down and all the way back to my purchase price. And I was thinking, well, glad I did that because who knows if this is going to work. And then the next day it gapped up. So I said, okay, stop goes under here. So I raised my stop up under there. Now, as it went here, my stop, I didn't want to put it here. I said, if it goes back below that level, that's now the anchor from the earnings report. So my stop goes under there. And yesterday, I took a quarter piece off because it broke out. It actually broke out the day prior. It broke out yesterday, and it was running into strength. So it was really strong. So let's look at the 2-minute time frame. So what I did here was I actually didn't use the 2-minute exit. I said that I used the low of the day, actually. Where'd that go? I thought I knocked over my glass of water. I didn't. So I used an exit right here and got stopped out at this point for a quarter piece for a gain of $20.60 per share. Now my stop on the balance is 129.74, which is the higher low below the rising 5-day moving average. That's pretty far away, but it allows me to say, okay, when is the next time that I adjust this? Let's say on Monday we see something like this. It comes down to and even through the 5-day moving average, but then recovers and rallies back up. Well, then at that point, I will set my stop under here because the 5-day moving average will look like this. And that will be the higher low with the rising 5-day moving average. And I might even add one of those quarter pieces back right here with my entire stop under this level. So that's an example of one, obviously, that worked. And if there's, people saying, oh, show us a loser. The losers are boring because they're so, always so small.
Yeah. Can I jump in with a
question?
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, so the 5-day moving average, a lot of people had questions about that actually. Could you kind of break it down how you use it? Because you're not looking at it on a daily time frame. It's
Correct.
using that